Good morning. Welcome, everyone, to this press conference on the theme of on the preparations and the theme of the next Conference of Ministers, which is going to be held in Victoria Falls, Zimbabwe. Now I am going to introduce the ES and the Honorable Ministers. So, Excellency Claver Gatete, Executive Secretary of the Economic Commission for Africa, and Honorable Ntuli Nkube, Minister of Finance from Zimbabwe.
Thank you very much, Nita, for that kind of introduction. And it's very good to have the media present for this work, for this conference that we are about to announce. It's a conference of Ministers of Finance. It happens every year. And it's really meant to understand what is going on in terms of the economic challenges and also how to address the issues that, that are being faced by the member countries, all the 54 member countries. Here, this time, it's going to take place in Zimbabwe, and it's going to take place in Victoria Falls, a place I'm sure that everybody knows that needs no introduction. If you haven't gone there, then it means you are losing out on African tourism. Whereas it's starting on the 28th of this month, Feb, with a meeting, technical meetings on the statutory issues, but also on the areas of discussion. And then it's going to be followed up by the side meetings. And also after that, then there'll be ministerial meetings. The theme of this year is financing the transition to inclusive green economies in Africa, imperatives, opportunities, and policy options. But the whole aim is really focusing on several things which are also consistent with the Summit of the Future that is being discussed, that will take place this year in September. It is in New York, where the main issues are financing, climate, and technology. They are among the many issues that are going to be discussed, and the heads of state will take decisions, especially the reform of the international financial architecture that has been really now in discussion for the whole year, that they are going to talk about the climate, which is affecting almost every country on the continent and beyond. Also the issue of technology being a solution to many of the challenges that we are having, but having many of our countries really lagging far, far behind. Right now, in terms of technology, we have 1.6 billion people who are not connected, who are not even part of this discussion that we are talking about. And there has to be a solution, and that's why there is a Global Digital Compact that is also under preparation, under discussion. So the meetings, the side meetings, and also the ministerial meetings, will be discussing like 4 issues. One is the reform of the international financial architecture, that also to see how the finance ministers, who are the foot soldiers on the ground, who are dealing with these issues on a day-to-day basis, would have a say, and also an input to the, of course, the Summit of the Future in terms of the discussions. We'll be talking about also financing development, financing climate, and also the debt issues that countries are facing and what will be the possible solutions. There will also be a discussion on climate itself, and also the green economy and all other related issues and the solutions to that. Finance ministers are playing a leading role in that area, but also we'll be having ministers in charge of environment that will be part of that discussion. We'll also be discussing about technology and how it can really help in terms of speeding up the implementation of the Sustainable Development Goals, but also the Agenda 2063, and also the, of course, the implementation of the African Continental Free Trade Area Agreement, which has been adopted by the heads of state of the African continent. So there'll be quite a lot. And here we'll be having ministers in charge of technology, ministers in charge of industry and trade, because the trade part will become quite a big one in the discussion, and also our continental free trade area. There will be ministers, of course, of finance. This is their statutory meeting. They meet every year. They'll be discussing the normal businesses, but also touch on the areas which are very critical at this point in time. So I think that's what I can say for now. But I'm saying now from the response we are getting, it's going to be a very successful conference of ministers in Victoria Falls that is going to inform really how we move forward as a continent going forward. We are doing it also in partnership with the African Union. It's a big part of this kind of conference because all the issues we are discussing are also those affecting the Agenda 2063 and also the next 10-year program implementation together with, of course, the Continental Free Trade Area. So with those few words, let me just invite my colleague, Honorable Minister, please go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you, yes, Dr. Gatete. Let me say that Zimbabwe is very pleased to be hosting the Conference of Ministers this year. And the choice of Victoria Falls is not an accident. Victoria Falls is a very special place in the world and not just in Zimbabwe, one of the few wonders of the world available to mankind. You know, Victoria Falls is the only city I know in the world. Maybe there's something else, who knows, but I just don't know. The only city in the world which is located in a game park. So basically, the animals have more rights than humans, and in this place. So if you come across an elephant and is blocking the road, just leave it alone. If you see a leopard, do the same. Leave it alone until it is done with crossing the road before you cross. So basically, this is a place where Zimbabwe will be able to showcase its natural resources, which are critical in supporting the theme of our discussion, which is the financing of the transition to green economies, and looking in Africa and looking at the opportunities and various policy options. You'll be able to experience the tourism infrastructure, the various opportunities that exist, whether it's wildlife, gazing, photography, cruising on the river. Those with, a bit more braver than some of us, they can even do bungee jumping. But let's see which Minister of Finance wants to do that. I suspect most wouldn't want to, but some will be brave enough to want to do that. So it's a wonderful venue that really will augment, in its ambience, augment the intellectual discussions on the content that the ES has already explained, that really will have some very critical side events that will speak to greening economies, speak to climate finance, speak to leveraging technology for the development of Africa, really take stock on how we're progressing on the Sustainable Development Goals in meeting the agenda targets for Agenda 63. So very deep intellectual content, but being cognizant of the fact that we are experiencing lots of shocks around the world, and we are all trying to figure out as ministers of finance how to manage our way through these shocks, be they in elevated debt levels, for example, trade shocks, problems with the global value chains in terms of procurement of materials for industry and so forth, trying to get the African Continental Free Trade Area going. All those are critical areas and shocks that we need to deal with. The issue of trying to upgrade or change or re-engineer the international financial architecture is very, very critical. We're also acutely aware that this is a topic that the G20 will be grappling with over the next 2 years to see how we can redesign international financial system that is fit for purpose, fit for the shocks that we're going through, and that will also uplift Africa from where it is. And Africa needs to make its own contribution to this debate, makes the right input, and this conference will afford Africa at least a platform to be able to put its ideas across to inform this agenda. So we really look forward to hosting this conference. Zimbabwe is a wonderful venue that has been chosen, and we look to everyone showing up because it's not just about the intellectual discussions, but also about the tourism aspects which Zimbabwe has plenty to offer. I thank you.